The NBA is going through a transformation that has never been seen before. I mean, players like Steph Curry are shooting it from an imaginary 4-point line. Players like Zion Williamson are bringing the term bully ball to the next level. Players like Donovan Mitchell and Luka Jokic, in the span of a week, are putting up some of the greatest games ever recorded in NBA history. And then, in the midst of that, you have Nikola Jokic, dominating the game like we've never seen before and breaking records that were once thought to be unbreakable. I've been following the NBA closely now for about 2 decades. I've also done my fair share of studying the history of the league ever since its inception back in 1946. And believe me when I say that never have I ever heard of anything that comes remotely close to what Jokic is doing. This man is an anomaly. He's a glitch in the Matrix. He's Batman's greatest arch nemesis. Nikola Jokic, ladies and gentlemen, is the Joker. If there's one thing that the DC Comics supervillain and the NBA superstar have in common besides their name, it's the fact that they're unpredictable. I mean, in the film rooms, defensive coaches probably tell their players all the time,
Wayne, perhaps this is a man you don't fully understand either.
and it's true. If you watch the man play, you have no idea what he's going to do. And the scary truth is, even if you did, there's nothing you could do. I mean, for starters, he's 7 feet tall, and he's the 3rd heaviest player in the NBA. If he decides to, he can just play bully ball and force his way to the rim. I mean, just look at these. These are effortless on his part. He can do these in his sleep, and honestly, if he didn't care about getting his team involved, he could probably average 30 to 40 a night easily just by doing this. And that leads me into my next point. In addition to just being able to play bully ball, Jokic is a great passer. He literally has eyes behind his head, and that's why it's so hard to just double team him, because more often than not, he'll find the open man. And whether it's a cutter to the rim or a wide open shot, if you send help, you'll pay for it. I mean, just look at some of these passes. He's hands down the best passing big man I've ever seen play the game before. It's ridiculous. And yet, I'm only getting started talking about his game. Next off, I want to talk about his touch around the rim, and when I say touch, I'm talking about these. Small little hook shots, floaters, push shots, or whatever you want to call them. The fact of the matter is, he does it better than anybody. And with that being said, I want you to take a look at something here. These are the shooting splits of the 3 greatest big men in the league right now: Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic. When it comes to finishing at the rim, they all have about the same accuracy in the high 70s. But when you move that figure a little bit from 3 to 10 feet away from the basket, look at the discrepancies. Giannis is at 28%, which is horrible. Embiid is at 45%, which is passable, but not great. And then you have Jokic, who's shooting 62% at this range. Sheesh, guys. No wonder why this guy is a 2-time MVP and is looking to be on track to winning his 3rd one. I mean, you put him anywhere within 10 feet of the basket with the ball, and it's a bucket. Sheesh. No wonder why Denver has one of the best offensive ratings in the NBA. All they gotta do is literally feed him in the post, then let him get to work. Anyway, I want to move a little further out from the basket because not only is he good around the rim, but he has range too. And a 7-footer with range isn't something to be taken lightly. Because look, if you give him too much space, whether it's a mid-range or a 3, he'll just shoot it right over you. And with that being said, let's look a bit further at his statistics and see why Jokic is one of a kind. As of today, the man is averaging 25 points, 11 rebounds, and close to 10 assists a game. The dude is practically averaging a triple-double. You then ask yourself, okay, now is he doing this efficiently from the field, or is he just a volume shooter? Well, first off, he has the highest player efficiency rating in the entire league currently at 32.1. The top 10 players in this category are often in the MVP race, and let's just take a quick look here. Of every player in the top 10 for PER, which includes Anthony Davis, Luka Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, Durant, Curry, SGA, Zion, Jimmy Buckets, Nikola Jokic actually has the highest true shooting percentage at 68.7%. Okay, so now we've concluded that he's not only averaging a 25-point triple-double, but he's more efficient than every other superstar in the league. Sheesh, guys. But wait, it's not over yet. Then we gotta ask ourselves, okay, so he's doing really well when it comes to producing numbers, but is it translating into wins? Well, then you pull up the Western Conference standings, you'll immediately see that the Nuggets are the number 1 seed in the West, which coincidentally is exactly what I predicted in my Western Conference predictions before the season started. Anyway, I want to pull back up the PER, player efficiency rating statistic, one more time for you all. In 2009, LeBron James won his first MVP and had a monster of a season. He didn't just make the All-NBA first team, but he made the All-Defensive first team as well. But yet, he didn't have a better PER than the 1988 version of Michael Jordan, who for that season averaged 35 points, won his first MVP, made the All-NBA first team, All-Defensive first team, and won Defensive Player of the Year. And yet, Michael Jordan for that season didn't have a better PER than the 1962 version of Wilt Chamberlain. You know, the season where he had a 100-point game and averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds. For that season, Chamberlain had a PER of 32.08, a record that we all thought would last forever, just like his 100-point game record, and just like his ridiculous 50-point, 25-rebound season. Giannis almost gave him a scare in 2020 when he was just a hair shy of the record, coming in at 31.86. And then we thought that was it. No one else is touching that Chamberlain record or coming anywhere close to it for all that matters. But then, in comes Nikola Jokic, who said to Giannis, "Hey man, hold my beer." In 2022, the Joker went bonkers and did something we all thought wasn't possible. He topped Wilt Chamberlain's best PER season and came in at 32.85. It's no wonder why he won the MVP. Then, if you thought that was crazy and a one-off thing, well, like I said earlier, this season, so far, he's coming in at 32.1, which again is better than Chamberlain's best season. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this deserves a sheesh. Better than MJ ever did, better than a prime LeBron ever did. Kareem, Magic, Bird, Steph's unanimous MVP season. Nikola Jokic, when it comes to regular season numbers, is doing something absolutely unheard of, something that players could only possibly dream about. And actually, if players ever even decided to say this dream out loud, they'd be ridiculed. And I mean it. I mean, if anybody says they're going to have a better season than Jokic did, based on the PER stat alone, then that means they'd have to do better than a prime LeBron James, a prime Michael Jordan, and a prime Wilt Chamberlain. And that's absolutely nonsense. And we all know it. What's even crazier about this story is the fact that Nikola Jokic was picked in the second round. I don't even have to pull up the statistics for this, but he truly is the biggest draft steal in the last 40 years of the NBA, hands down. An argument could be made for who's the best draft steal, but it'd either be Nikola Jokic or Willis Reed. As a second-round pick back in 1964, Reed didn't put up the numbers the Joker is putting up, but in addition to having a regular season MVP, he also has 2 finals MVPs, but that's a debate for another day. I'm not going to argue about that here. Anyway, what's even more remarkable about the fact that he was picked in the second round is the fact that he used to drink a liter of cola a day. He was overweight at the time, and in fact, he said it himself that back in high school, he couldn't even do one single push-up. And yet, here we are today, watching him dominate the competition on a nightly basis. I'm sure lots of players in the NBA are completely frustrated as they're completely powerless to stop this Joker. I'm even sure that some defensive pests like Patrick Beverley are wondering how to get into his head, because if you can't stop him physically, you gotta stop him mentally. But when they try to play mind games with him, they'll soon realize the truths of these words.
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.